Welcome to News Echoes and thank you for watching. My name is Shegun Johnson. We're broadcasting to you from this city of Milan, and that is my colleagues and myself, we are all over the different towns and capitals in Europe, and we're glad you're watching. We want to bring the latest in what has been happening across the globe in the last 7 days. Of course, this is the News Echoes. I'm so glad you're watching. In the studio with me is my colleague and one-time ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Nat Iyakwo. Ambassador Nat, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you very much.
My colleague is also in Milan, Mark in Milan. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sir Shegun. Thank you very much for having me again. Beautiful day out here.
It's always a great pleasure to have you on this program. The United Nations have been meeting at the General Assembly, and it's been a very spectacular one, especially for Britain and Nigeria for various reasons. And we recall that the United Kingdom and the USA were in touch just the last week to edge out France from submarine contracts from Australia, and that has caused a lot of vibrations across the Atlantic and across the Pacific. So now France had to pull out its ambassadors all the way from USA and Australia. And some people have been saying, why is Macron whinging like a baby boy? But why will he not whinge? It's the election year. And so he could not afford to allow this to run him down. Again, UK has been a bit quiet on the discussion, but then the French authorities did not find it to remove their own ambassador from the United Kingdom. I don't know why. Only Emmanuel Macron can tell us why. And of course, they withdrew their ambassador from Australia as well. This have a lot of implications across different oceans. Let me just ask our in-house researcher to bring us up to date on these UK, USA, Australia, France melange that has been causing some serious discussions in the last few days before we now go to what is happening at the United Nations General Assembly. Nat.
Thank you very much. This is more of what we call diplomatic tussle, and more things happen behind the scenes than what we are seeing or what we are hearing. The French, France, the Macron seems to be at the center of the storm, because France has already been facing some serious economic challenges, and especially challenges deriving from COVID. You see, but the historical relationship, especially between UK and France, is wobbling, but it is still there. But the main problem is the relationship between USA, Australia, and France. That is where the challenge is. And the challenge has its root in the business fallout when France don't have that opportunity now of sharing the trade going along with the submarines.
It's called 12 billion pounds. Is 12 billion pounds a lot of money to cause a diplomatic row?
Yes, especially the economic challenges that is all over the world at the moment. And it's really not the money involved. There are so many other things tied to that money. I mean, that submarine trade, the submarine trade, because it has to do also with job creation. It also has to do with technical know-how, exchanging knowledge. especially within these advanced technologies, especially USA. USA has a lot to offer when it comes to marine technology and marine warfare, because it's going to involve those aspects. And so when France cannot participate directly to share of that large cake, is going to affect France economy. Then again, you have said this is a political year. The average Frenchman or French lady who may have been eyeing jobs opportunities with that contract, but now it's not going to be available.
Okay, let's hear what is happening in Europe. If our friend in Italy will throw more light. Mark, how do you see this edging out of France from this contract? How did they receive it in Europe? Because I know that there will be preparations as well in Italy.
Thank you very much. It's a good issue to deliberate, Sashagun. It's a serious situation. Now, the background story is this. France and Australia had a pact 7 years ago to build the French people are very good at submarine construction. And now it is not just ordinary submarine construction, it is nuclear constructed submarine, nuclear arranged. China has that knowledge. Now what happened is the French and the Australians have an agreement. France was to build this submarine for Australia and also help in teaching the Australians for further construction of that submarine. But behind France, America and UK went into a different new agreement with Australia and told them, yes, we can also do the same thing, build for you this heavy submarine, nuclear submarine. It's not just, now they are talking of nuclear submarine. So America and UK went behind France and had that pact, a new agreement with Australia. France heard about it and France got very angry. France recalled his ambassadors immediately. And like Ambassador Nat said, it's about money. There's so much money involved. Also, it's also about China, because what happens is China comes all the way to the French waters to do things. They're in China comes all the way to Australia to do business. Yes, Australia waters. And they say there are some precious minerals deposited around that region, the Pacific Ocean of Australia. So it's all about China also. And
this is very interesting. What you have brought into it is very interesting, because the Australian authorities have been very, very embarrassed in the Second World War, saying that their submarines were just ordinary boats, and the people laughed at them. So they wanted to upgrade their submarines. And now, like you now said, China is fishing or digging for minerals just in front of their shore. But the question is, what is the nautical mile limit that China could not move into the presence of Australian waters? Let me quickly say this one. There are nautical miles limits every nation is supposed to respect. And China was the first person that left the 12-mile limit to 200-mile limit. They said they will not allow any other nation to get to 200 miles of their waters. So how many miles are they getting to the waters of Australia? This is very important.
It's the same 200 miles limit. The other story is that China has the sophisticated nuclear constructed submarine. So China has a way of also breaking that mile limit and penetrating, with this machine.
Getting away with it.
Yeah, getting away with it. So, but the real idea is that America and UK feel that it's a fight against China indirectly. and they feel that they have a better solution than what France can offer. So but it went wrong way. The whole plan went in the way it shouldn't.
This
Even
is
if
this is interesting. And Germany could not help France
no, but
because
now,
Germany.
as
Mhm.
of yesterday, the EU has said they are going to support France because France is a member of the EU. France is a member, is a family of the European. And yesterday, the Europeans all said they are going to put their weight behind France. So
Okay, they're
we're
going to put their wood behind France, but Germany has an undertaking that it will not go into military hardware after the Second World War.
That's very correct. And America sticks it with that agreement with Germany. So what we're going to what we're about
So Germany will be hiding under EU now.
yes, they will be obliged to put some mouth because they are a major player in EU, and this is their brother. I mean, this is like their next door neighbor. So
Yes.
Germany will have to say something, and it's going to be an interesting outcome. But let me say this: thank God the countries involved are all cordial countries.
Yeah.
It's not like Russia.
Allied countries, they call
Allied
themselves.
countries, good. It's not like Russia is involved or China directly. That would have sparked off more volatile reaction.
Reaction.
But these
Yeah.
people can come together and say, okay, it's okay. Sorry, now it's money. Maybe you can have some of this money even I can give you. You can take it.
Oh, thank you very much, Mark. I'll just return to Nat. Nat, what
Yeah.
else is happening at the United Nations General Assembly? We know that Muhammadu Buhari had been there. I'm not aware he has spoken yet. President Biden has spoken and he talked about pumping more money to save the planet. What else is happening there? And please feel free to include all the Nigerians protesting in front of the United Nations building.
Well, thank you very much. The general the United Nations General Assembly, which is an annual event that takes place in New York. This time around, for the past 2 years, the assembly has not been able to meet on site because of COVID challenges. So everybody is trying to register his or her presence. And the assembly proper started yesterday, although heads of states and government have been arriving since last week to do other things in America. One thing is that this is the major focus, but there are so many other things happening along the sidelines of the meetings. US and UK, in fact, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, is more concerned about trade arrangement between UK and US than the meeting going on. Because since UK pulled out of the EU, they are facing serious challenges of securing trade partners. And more so, Boris Johnson had taken for granted that because of the historical relationship, which some people call this special relationship between USA and UK, he will get it easy. But on arrival in the US, it doesn't seem he has got anything with trade. Instead, UK is trying to fraternize with Canada and Mexico, which are neighbors. They are neighbors with the USA. But how much trade has Mexico got to do with UK? And even Canada, how much trade have Canada got to do with UK? Canada would prefer trading with the USA than UK. So that is the challenge UK will facing. No matter how much price, it doesn't look Joe Biden is really ready at the moment to sign any trade agreement.
Wow. But the news that the USA has lifted the restriction on Europeans will be most welcome, won't it?
Well, that is, yeah, to some extent, but trade is more important than tourism, although the two of them go together. Uh, and especially from the UK side, I think the UK side go more to America than America coming to.
Yes, that's the exact reason why I was disappointed, because the United States says we are going to release people from Europe to come into the US from early November. We still have the whole of October between now and early November. And what is early November? Is it the 1st of November or the 10th of November? So early November is so big for a government to make. And we still don't know the criteria of entering the US, apart from a visa or ESTA. What other criteria are they asking for?
At least 2 jabs of vaccine,
Yeah,
and you have to show evidence of that.
and
And
evidence of negative PCR.
yes, yes, yes. But the thing is that uh, America will also want to open up their country to to other nations who are, especially when it comes to tourism. People, because the tourist is bringing in some
A lot of cash.
yeah, we
Let's see.
will improve economy.
Let us see whether they received the news very well in Milan or in Europe. Mark, how did you receive the news? Are you happy to be on the next flight to New York?
These are interesting news. Well, thank you very much, Sashego. The 76th United Nations General Meeting is going on. That's the 76th edition. And it started with the election of the new president, the new United Nations president from Europe, Maldiva. There's a country called Maldiva, and the man is called Abdullah. Abdullah is the new president of the United Nations. Yes, a lot of policies are being arranged, new policies, new arrangements. But at the end of it all, let's be open, let's be frank. United Nations has not lived up to its expectation. United Nations has lost its value. That's the fact, Sashagon. All the crises in the world, they play so much. The diplomacy they put to it doesn't help situations. United Nations, for example, doesn't have control over some countries. China, Russia do things and get away with it. So it's just now United Nations is like an old man that does just fable old
Okay,
man.
let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Can you do without the United Nations?
Well, for diplomacy and at least a voice to issues, we can't do without them. But we need more.
I know, because as a student of international relations, I know where you are going.
Yes, sir.
What are the reasons for setting up the United Nations in the first place in 1944? Have they been able to live to that expectation?
No,
But
sir.
others will also argue that on the other sides of it, in terms of health, WHO in terms of environment, and in terms of health, and in terms of UNCTAD, and also all the other agencies of the UN have helped the world to a very great extent. UNESCO, for example,
Yes.
Children's Fund, for example. So all of these, if you put them together, then it may be just that the United Nations could still go on for some foreseeable future. Of course, it's not living to stop any war. There have been wars since 1944. The most important is that there has never been a nuclear war, the Third World War, especially. So, in the balance of it, the UN is still surviving. But we understand, Sanat, that the Nigerians in New York went to demonstrate there. and some said they were even paid to demonstrate. Please, can you update us?
Yeah, demonstrations have now been accepted as an instrument of expression for and against. And some of the placards we saw yesterday or thereabout were placards in support of the federal government of Nigeria. And again, you can be sure that there will always be two sides to a coin. We're expecting that a contrary view, a contrary opinion will be expressed by another group, maybe between now and tomorrow.
Well, Nat, sorry to cut you short. I've never seen a supporting group like this before. When you read what they are writing, for instance, let me read one for you just from the screen. Nigerian Christians say Nigerian Christians not targets of genocide. Oh, it's been taken away. That's one of the things. Another one says Nigeria is not a place of this. Nigeria is not those ones are written in negatives. It connotes that the government is behind this particular one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a signpost of where those postcards are coming from. These are the very points Nigeria has been accused of.
Yes.
Yeah, and you remember some representation have been made even to the United Nations by groups and individuals, more of reporting Nigeria to the United Nations of the atrocities, the insecurity that is on ground in Nigeria. But
okay, listen to this young man. Listen to this young man.
President Joe Biden, Nigeria people is calling for referendum. President Joe Biden, we want referendum in Nigeria. Nigeria is about to snap. President Joe Biden, cowboy. Nigeria is about to snap. Do not allow Nigeria to snap, okay? We want referendum in Nigeria. President Joe Biden, Buhari is a terrorist. Buhari is a terrorist. We want 1999 constitution to come down. 1999 constitution is nepotic in nature. Buhari is a terrorist commander. Nigeria occupies the third position on global terrorist index presently. After Afghanistan, after Iraq, Nigeria is next. Please do not let Nigeria snap. President Joe Biden, the world leaders, New York, all the world leaders.
Thank you, studio. Nat, that is a very, very bad and sad for Nigeria, isn't it? At an international platform like that.
Yes, because let's even start with Sunday, this week Sunday, we on their arrival thereabouts, the Femi Adesina, the spokesperson for Buhari, told the whole world that Buhari had a warm welcome, a warm reception, which is not true, because right from the John F. Kennedy Airport, there were counter demonstrations against the president of Nigeria. But you know, the press or whosoever is involved in managing the public affairs of the president, they have a way or a strategy of knocking out unfavorable publicity or demonstrations. You may never even see or hear about them, because these people who are involved in demonstrations, they don't have a means of they don't have the means of publicizing their own demonstrations. They could do social media thing, but the coverage, but the government has a wider this, and you know, the federal government of Nigeria has a very strong representative in the United Nations. The officials are there to protect the image of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or federal government of Nigeria. So this is what we are seeing, but definitely I can assure you that we are looking forward with keen interest the next 1 or 2 days, especially when Buhari will read his the 10 or 15 minutes address to the United Nations.
Mark, this has dented the image of Nigeria internationally, hasn't it?
Yes, it is. But the thing is, like Ambassador Nat said, this doesn't. It goes to a corner of the whole thing. They will cloud it all more with their own reprisal coverage. You know, the presidency, the government, the federal government has more power over media. So
yeah, but that's what we call social media now. You can't hold that one.
Yes, but you know, most of these big organizations like United Nations, they don't rely much on such flow of information. They don't go with much of the social media thing. They come with conventional media. So they might just see this as miscreants outside the United Nations trying to create some noise. Because like Ambassador Nat said, we saw a different thing yesterday. There were Nigerians with those placards. I think it was in the poster. And that looked more like a bigger arrangement, you know? So,
but we have information that they were paid $50 an hour for 3 hours. And then the problem came when they wanted to take their identity to go back to the Nigerian embassy that they have been paid. And so they said, no, you cannot take our pictures and our identities. Are you out of your mind? In the United States, you want to take our identity for taking $150 for 3 hours? So problem broke out. So what you have said, they are not state actors. Therefore, the United Nations may not particularly take them seriously now. But I think those demonstrators know what they're doing, because that's what we call the propaganda war. The propaganda war now is being taken to the doorstep of Nigeria, and the reply Nigeria could do was $150 for 3 hours, which they were even exposed for. So it's about propaganda war, which the Biafrans did very well against Nigeria during the Biafra Nigerian Civil War. And so we are seeing how these things play out. And I must say that those who have been clamoring for self-determination have been to the United Nations in the last 1 month, standing at the entrance of the United Nations, especially the Odua nations, and they have demonstrated visibly, continuously, saying that they want to leave the Nigerian, according to them, contraption. And this is where we find ourselves, where we will see whether Nigeria is in a position to allow for self-determination in the days ahead. But for us right now, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we get the sad news.
Thank you.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. It's Shengen Story magazine's full editions, celebrating Africans making impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story Magazine. Schengen Story Magazine full editions.
Thank you for watching Echo News. And whether we call it Echo News or News Echoes, the decision is yours. Well, I'm so glad you are still watching. Unfortunately, we had the news of Dr. Obadiah Melafia. Those who have been watching the news space in Nigeria uh, will know Dr. Obadiah as a spoken former deputy governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, one of the directors at the NIPSS in Kurujos. Dr. Obadiah has been outspoken, and so many times he has said he received death threats because he was directly opposed to what Buhari has been doing. And
I
it's a
am
very
the
sad
voice
situation.
of thousands of voiceless people. Millions. Oh yes. Muslim youths have taken me as their voice. Yes. Christian youths have taken me as their voice. Yes, sir. Thousands of people have been killed in this country. Yes, sir. In Borno, in Yobe, in Adamawa, in Katsina, in Daura, in Birningwari, in Zamfara, in Niger, in Southern Kaduna, in Benue, in Plateau, where we are today. I've mentioned Adamawa, all over the country. Even the other day, a pregnant woman was killed in Bayelsa. I am the voice of the holy martyrs. Amen. And if I perish, I perish.
Nat, has Dr. Obadiah Melafia perished?
Well, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. We want to join the family of late Dr. Obadiah Malafia, his friends, his colleagues, Kaduna State, where he comes from, and even Nigeria. Our condolences to everybody that knows Dr. Obadiah Melafia, who died last week, Sunday morning. Obadiah, we can describe him as a grassroots man, a grassroots politician. He schooled in those days what is part of Nasarawa State today, around not too far from Kefi, not too far from Nasarawa Egon, But with the division of states, his place of birth, Randa, is in Kaduna State at the tip of southern Kaduna with borders with Nasarawa State. The father was a pastor, and we know pastors were subject to postings to different stations. So but eventually, Melafia had this opportunity of schooling, secondary school, went to Ahmadu Bello University for his first degree, and he has also was able to also study for master's degree and PhD abroad. And he started work. He had some period of work with the African Development Bank, worked with the United Nations, and he also was a deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The same time, Dr. Mogolu was, and they all participated as presidential candidates in the 2019 presidential elections, but none of them was able to win the elections as the president of Nigeria. Melafia has always been outspoken, especially against oppression of the common man. He has a very progressive mind. He's a detribalized man, and wherever he has worked, he has distinguished himself as somebody with integrity, somebody with very brilliant ideas to offer, and somebody who has always had the courage to speak truth to the power. That picture you can see is the lady by his right is the wife, and the man by his left is Dr. Gideon Malone, very close friend of his. So, we see Dr. Melafia late, may he so rest in peace. He had the opportunities, and he used them wisely to confront the government, to confront the northern governors, especially with this challenge of insecurity in the north, with emphasis in the middle belt, and with zeroing it to Kaduna, southern Kaduna State, where he comes from. He had the courage to tell the world that serving governors in the north were sponsoring Boko Haram. And we are aware that he was invited 2 times, one time by the DSS, another one by the Nigerian police. And he honored the invitations. He went there, he spoke the truth to them, and they released him. But we know that since that time, really his life was not safe. The security challenges here and there. He had to resign his appointment with NIPS in Kuru, National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, because he couldn't be in government and be fighting government. So he had to resign his appointment and focus now on national affairs, politics, especially
at the detriment of his own finances.
Hello?
At the detriment of his own finances.
Yeah, at the detriment of his finances, at the detriment of his personal security and that of his family. And once you start speaking against government, they block all avenues that even your business or any other thing that you are doing for a living, the government will ensure they strangle or strangulate you from this access. And I'm sure he was now living on charity from friends and colleagues until.
So it appears, sorry, Ambassador Nat, it appears that
yes.
Whoever opposes this administration is either to be banished or to be killed or to be arrested forever. And I'm making inferences from Obadiah Melafia, Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday Igboho. And when you look at their lives, I also make reference to Showore. If you happen to raise up a pressure group for a particular cause, or you challenge this government, and you are the sole trader of challenging, they're going to hand you down. Is this what we call democracy?
Well, the problem we now have is, are we really practicing democracy in Nigeria or even Africa? Are people involved in what is going on? Democracy has been redefined by what we're experiencing in Nigeria, especially, and Africa as a wider geographical area. And I know that we hopefully, when we come to discuss the issue of military coups and democracy in Africa, West Africa, and Nigeria, some of these highlights will be more understood.
Okay.
Freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom to associate is not there. It's been taken away from the people, and the government has seen itself as the only people who can speak out to publicize what they say they are doing for the people, and the people are saying no, we are not experiencing what the dividends of democracy.
Thank you. Mark, Melafia Obadiah is gone. Is anyone going next after him? This is a star situation.
That's a very deep talk, Sashage. We don't know. Ambassador Nat has given all the insights, and we just hope that people can, I mean, they call it democracy, and there should be freedom of speech, but it's a different thing in Africa. It's not only in Nigeria. We saw similar situation in Uganda. We see similar things all around Africa. So Africa is not really practicing democracy. If when people speak, you attack them, you block them,
you abduct them, you run them down. The other day, man, some DSS officials, we were told, went to Sunday Igboho's house and they shot their way inside, destroying vehicles, destroying properties, and the court had to order them to pay to Sunday Igboho 20 billion naira, albeit the man is in castration in the Republic of Benin.
But we know the present administration of government in Nigeria doesn't follow those court orders. You know this, Sasha. So it's just a statement in the air because nobody is going to pay any $20 billion. And it's a sad thing. This kills the morale of the people because there has to be criticism, there has to be feedback from the populace. But when people give their feedback and the reactions are like this, then that's why we talk about the Nigerian emotions and sensitivity dampened. This all adds up to it. When the government hunts you down because you said something, government kills you, kills your family member, chase you around, block your source of income. So nobody will want to say anything again. Nobody will want to, everybody will be scared to say. We are saying what we're saying because we're probably in Europe. So maybe if we're saying what we're saying in Nigeria, it's a sad.
I know it's a very sad one, and unfortunately, this may lead to the end of democracy, as Western definitions will go. Well, there's still many more to discuss on this program concerning democracy and military coup in Nigeria, but let's leave that as it may be right now. We want to look at the creation of e-naira or electronic naira as declared by the federal government of Nigeria through the Central Bank of Nigeria. The governor said, now you can purchase e-naira with your normal naira, but with this e-naira, you can go and do trading with other people. Let's first of all understand what e-naira is, who can obtain e-naira. There are 200 million Nigerians. We understand they feed under $2 a day. And so is e-naira the real thing that Nigeria should be facing, or how to bring the value of naira up? Nat, please help us again.
Okay, thank you very much. The e-naira and the digital wallet is what the Central Bank of Nigeria wants to introduce into the Nigerian economy. The world is heading towards a digital performance
Currency.
of the economy. If you have to participate, or you want to participate in economic activities, you now have to use the digital platform, the internet of everything. The federal government through the Central Bank of Nigeria is opposed to the cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency is being used in other parts of the world. It's becoming the in thing now, that people want to use the digital technology. They want to deploy the digital technology to carry out economic activities. And so the Central Bank of Nigeria, in their recent meeting in July, they have this monthly policy meetings of the central bank to set up interest rate and other financial indicators. And so the central bank issued a statement to say that they want to start operating the e-naira and the digital wallet in the Nigerian economy. The e-naira means electronic naira. You have to have access to electronic facilities. You have to know how to use the electronic facilities. You have to create an e-naira account, which is tending towards a cashless society, because the
Now, let me
e-naira can
quickly,
only be spent on naira.
sorry, Ambassador. Let me punctuate you. Is it possible I convert my e-naira into ordinary naira so that I could buy food at the restaurant?
No. If you go to a restaurant, they must have the e-naira account before you can spend from your e-naira account. It's e-naira to e-naira.
So if I bought 100 million naira e-naira, I cannot convert it back to naira anymore. So which means I can only take my 100 million naira to go and purchase things from UAC, where they have possibly they have e-naira. That's the only place I could use to buy goods, but I can't use it to.
That is the only you can spend your e-naira with facilities who have e-naira account. You cannot use e-naira account to pay for the normal naira account, and you cannot withdraw cash from your e-naira account. So there are so many limitations.
And with the level of illiteracy in Nigeria, how expedient is e-naira to us now? 99 million Nigerians, 99% of Nigerians, they're not thinking of e-naira. They're thinking of how the quality and the value of their naira could go up, isn't it?
Yeah, and also you might be aware that the 200 million Nigerians, how many people even have an ordinary bank account, not to
That's correct.
An electronic account. And the ordinary people are no longer taking their money to the bank. because of security challenges, because of corruption too that is in the system. There are already cases of corruption, even this electronic banking. People have hacked into other people's accounts, even by using a simple mobile phone. Once they can have access to maybe your PIN number, they'll hack into your account and withdraw money as much as as they can. So the challenge is going to be the level of technology in Nigeria. How many people have access to this internet, even the urban centers, not to talk of the rural areas. So it is going to be a very, very serious challenge.
Wow, Mark.
And more so that there haven't been enough publicity. You announced last week and you want to start October 2nd, barely 2 weeks. As usual, we don't plan for anything and then we plan to fail.
Yeah, Mark, what's your take on this e-naira? I don't know whether you are sufficient and happy with ordinary naira. Now they're talking of e-naira. What's your take?
Well, thank you, Sasha. The world is going digital.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency, basically, that means is money is converted into binary data. Money turns into binary. It becomes like something you don't feel or touch. For the e-naira, yes, cashless. For the e-naira, it's a good idea from the federal government of Nigeria, but the problem we have is Nigerians are not very schooled in these crypto currency activities. There's so much about it. There are the advantages and disadvantages. Federal government is putting out the e-naira from the 1st of October. They will be using some people as the guinea pig. Some people will have to convert their money into that. So it's just a flow of money in the electronic way. It's a good idea because that's where the world is going now. Most countries have their various electronic currencies, their countries and currency in electronic way. And we have the worldwide cryptocurrency going on, Bitcoin and all that. But you take note that this came out from clamping down on the bit currency, the one that was already
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin. And the federal government felt they should have an alternative, something from their own control, their own domain. But we are doing things. You see, what happens in most cases in Africa, mostly Nigeria, is we leapfrog into technology. We don't go through the real normal process. So
is it because China has tried to block the cryptocurrency?
That's just it. They just look at people.
But China has got the capacity and capability of doing that, innit?
Exactly, Sasha. China can do whatever they can do because China has good economy. China is producing. China has more labor force of people with innovations and everything. Now we just leapfrog. We hear of something from somewhere, we copy it, we enter into it. We don't look at the intricacies and all the corners. So bet me, this e-naira plan, it will go for a time and it will be clamped down. They will shut it down because smart boys, smart spammers and scammers and all that will capitalize on their loopholes and use it to strike them.
But is it e-naira? Will it be recognized by the rest of the world, or it will only be recognized by the value of it? In which case,
these are good questions. Good questions, Sasha. Because when you have this kind of thing, you should be able to have dialogue and interaction with other world's money arrangements, so that there's that flow. Back, people can use it to buy something in Asia, in Europe, in America, in Canada. So let's see how that goes out. We've not really. I studied. I listened to the announcement. I studied a little of it, but we are yet to really catch how.
Okay. Just before we go on break, may I quickly ask you, to what extent was it necessary to ban Abuki FX, saying that is the one making Naira to fall in value? Was that sensible?
Financial analyst said that showed that Emefiele, CBN governor, doesn't really understand his job. He doesn't have a knowledge of finance as much as he claims to be. Mere fact of referring to Aboki FX, because Aboki FX is just an analytic platform that gives people an awareness of money transactions and money movement. It doesn't have anything to do with the Naira decline or the Naira whatever. So that announcement that they opened our governors, he opened he opened him up to how he doesn't truly understand the job.
I think I will say it for you. It opened into several demeaning ridicules because he was speaking emphatically that Abuki, you will pay for all your sins.
That is it, Ashagun.
I mean, it was ridiculous hearing CBN governor.
Financial analysts, money managers, and people in the financial market said, they didn't know that this man doesn't have a knowledge of this.
No, he was so hollow, so shallow, so demeaning. I mean, he ridiculed that position called CBN.
And we are saying, we in Schengen media, we're even saying Nigeria doesn't have enough such platforms. You see, we need such platforms that analyzes economic activities, platform that gives awareness and creates more mobilization and more activities of such things. We don't have that much. So we just have jumping on him.
One more question directed to Nat before we go on break. Nat, since the banning of Abuki FX and Mr. Oniwinde, he said is putting down, is no longer going to trade, has the Naira gained value? Just the last question before we go on break.
I think his network is
okay, all right. So what's the answer from your end? Has Naira gained value?
Has Naira gained value? No, sir. No. Yes, okay, Nat is here.
So it's just a waste of time and a waste of energy and a show of lack of knowledge in the way things happen.
That's the most important part, Sasha. That show of he's not capable of that office for him to go on a platform that is even helping them.
Yes.
FX is helping the central bank and its activities. And
he declared Mr. Oniwinde as a man to he declared him wanted.
They see him as a threat, and it's a shame. So we have a problem with this present administration of government in Nigeria. Most of these officers in these key positions don't really know what they don't understand that aspect of their work.
I think watching Emefiele speaking on that day, he looked like someone speaking to the non-entities in the government quarters. Abuki, you will pay for your sins. I mean, you can only tell the Abuki of the northern caliphate, northern people in the government that appointed him. Those are the only ones he can be telling, not intellectuals, not Nigerians.
The world is going too fast, and Nigerians have so many dynamic, young-minded men and people that want to go along with these things happening. So, but we find out that our government don't understand. So we retrogress. They keep bringing us back.
Many Nigerians have their money in Bitcoin as we speak. Many Nigerians are into cryptocurrency as we speak. It's only that they have left the government behind. And the most annoying part was telling the whole world, Aboki, you will pay for your sin. Which sin? Did they devalue the Naira, or Naira is just going down because of your own economic policies? I mean, it was. If nobody has spoken to Emefiele, he should be ashamed of himself. He's not fit for purpose. He should resign immediately. I mean, that's the kind of thing. But Nat, I was just about to ask you, the banning of Aboki FX from publishing Naira value, has it affected the value of Naira? Has it gone up then?
No, no.
So it
I
was
think
just a
it's
waste
the
of time.
governor of the central bank. The governor of the central bank doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you hearing me?
Very well, clearly well. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yes, and being a central bank governor in the 21st century and doesn't know how these things operate, and ignorantly coming out to tell the whole world what is wrong. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I'm not even too sure the level of how savvy the governor central bank is with internet applications and practical application of knowledge to use the digital facilities. And as you said, those who appointed him don't even know anything about how this digital economy is operating, what is digital technology. They are ignorant, they are illiterate, and that is why our economy is in the doldrums. And when you even have a minister of finance who doesn't know anything about finance, that is a sad moment, sad day for Nigeria. Emefiele is not in a position to declare anybody wanted, even in his house, because he doesn't have those powers. He doesn't have that mandate. He's just appropriating to himself the power that he doesn't have. Instead of facing squarely the challenges of the economy, the role of the central bank as advisor on monetary policy, is going into agriculture, is going to all these other things which are not beneficial to Nigeria as far as I'm concerned.
Well, waste of avenue to waste money. We'll just leave it like that. We want to acknowledge Yetunde Merima Johnson all the way from Lagos, acknowledging that our program is giving good information. In fact, let me read it to you. Good day all. Happy to join in and be part of the good informative platform. Kudos to you all. Thank you very much all the way from Lagos. And we want all other who are watching us, please bring in your responses or if you have a contrary view, please show it up and we like to discuss it. We just don't want to be telling you everything we know. If you have a contrary opinion, please bring it up and we'll all discuss it. That's what this platform is all about. We'll go on a short break. When we return, coups everywhere. Where is Nigeria? There we had that a coup attempt came into Sudan 48 hours ago. It has not been successful. Could we experience some things in Africa? Look, coup was successful in Mali, coup was successful in Guinea Conakry, now an attempted coup in Sudan 48 hours ago. What are the reasons for this coup now that Africa is supposed to be running democracy? Don't go away, we'll be right back after this short break.
Gang Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. The articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story Magazine. Get Schengen Story Magazine full editions.
Thank you for watching News Echoes. We are bringing you information, facts, and analysis, but you are free to give us a contrary opinion and we can all debate it. What we're trying to do is to give people an informed opinion and then you take your decision. Thank you very much for watching. We have this news that Sudan experienced a coup attempt, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, but it's never materialized into having a government. Of course, many lives must have been lost. But don't forget that the coup in Mali was successful, the coup in Guinea Conakry was successful, and ECOWAS has swung into action. They have given them stiff penalties for having a coup. But let us go into what happened in Sudan and with the understanding that will it happen in other countries, especially Nigeria? Can it ever happen in Nigeria? We're trying to look for the reasons for coups and then why is it that some are successful, some are not. Nat, please update us on what happened in Sudan.
Well, Sudan, when we talk of Sudan, Sudan used to be a very large country until when Southern Sudan was carved out of Sudan. So we have Sudan as a country, we have Southern Sudan as a country. We're talking of Sudan, which is north of Southern Sudan. There's been a lot of instability in not only in Sudan, but along this corridor, the Sahelian corridor, stretching through the all of Africa, immediately south of the Sahara, starting from Senegal, Morocco, up to Eritrea, which is an extension of Ethiopia. So all those countries in that the Sahelian region and the military incursions into politics have more been pronounced there, even though there have been in West Africa too. So the Sudan issue, when since Said Barre was removed from power, and I think he's in prison now, they have always been political instability in that part of Africa. And a very classic example, if you look at Egypt, even though Egypt is way up there, the history of Egypt is always been determined by generals who retire from the military and change into civilian uniform and they go into politics. So the issue is the armed forces or the military specifically, they have a defined role to play by the constitution, not only in Nigeria but other African countries. And the role of the military in the country has always been to defend the territorial integrity of each country and the sovereignty of each country. And they have to be called by either their national assemblies to participate in internal security challenges. But we are seeing different things happening now. that the military have become a permanent feature in the politics of these countries, and they want, they have asserted themselves in all sphere of national life. The police, as the case may be, who are supposed to be responsible for internal keeping of law and order and internal security, have lost that role to the military. So you in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Benin Republic, in Togo, in Chad Republic, in Cameroon, the story is the same. And the dilemma we are now facing is military.
Sorry. Who killed the leader in Chad?
Who killed the leader?
Was that a coup in Chad? You remember the leader was killed?
Yeah, you know, we have really not got a very clear picture of what happened in Chad. The Idris Deby, we are told he was in the war front, and he was shot in the war front. But some other schools of thought think that it was an insider job. It was disputes within his military, even though they were opposition and they were rebels fighting. But some people strongly hold that the death of Idris Deby was caused by within the
An
military
internal
struggle for power.
Yes, I would think so myself. Let me
Yes.
quickly ask Mark. I'll come back to you. Mark, why do some coups succeed and some fail? They tend to come and go. We have these incessant coups all over.
Obviously, the success of anything is from well-arranged plan. This coup wasn't. The prime minister said, Abdullah Hamdok said it's military officers within and outside the country's establishment, but probably they didn't have some core officers in each. That's why probably it failed.
Yeah, but the question is actually wanting to probe into what extent will they have run down the government, that the government was no longer fit for purpose, that the military will now say, that's it, we're coming in. Is it that between 0 and 10, they must have run the country to 1 from 9 or 8,
yes.
And then the military will say, we can't allow this anymore.
Can't allow this. Yes, that's the case in most. That's what it is in most cases. In the Sudan issue, it's you take note that since al-Bashar's removal, the Sudan prime minister, president before, the country has been in very terrible shape, economically, security-wise, everything. So this coup came in, but they didn't succeed. And interestingly, Sudan has oil. Sudan has some natural resources that should make them economically buoyant. But we are seeing a different thing in Sudan. Yes, military takeover, they come in when they feel the government has failed. We've seen it in other parts of Africa lately. And we hope it doesn't really go around the whole of Africa, because Africa is in bad shape politically. Africa is in bad shape with the governance and the leaders. So what we're seeing.
Will you think Nigeria is in such a bad shape, or not yet? That is why the military has not thought of coming in, or since the Babangida regime, the military has been settled. All the top officials have been settled. And if you are below, you are not getting it, you better keep short, otherwise you'll be fired.
Well, for Nigerian, the Nigerian case is a peculiar one, but we're not exempting Nigeria from what is happening now in Africa, because also people have gotten it up to their neck. Situations are terrible economically and otherwise. So anything can happen. That's how it is. But nobody knew, for example, it will happen in Guinea, and now it has. Nobody knew it will happen in Mali. And
Well, the guy in Guinea tried to get a third term as against the constitution, and then it backfired, and he lost his position. But the guy in Uganda, Museveni, suddenly discovered that he was no longer 74 years; he's below 74 years. And some ministers of the gospel, some notable people, they helped him trace to when he was born, and suddenly he was below 74 so that he could go and contest the next election. The guy in Rwanda also managed to get a third term position and change the constitution for a third term so that he will remain. Why do African leaders want power forever? Is it because in our culture we're used to monarchs, kings, and so they don't want to leave? Is that the situation?
Exactly. That's just it. That's it. But
let me ask Ambassador Nat. Ambassador Nat, do you think the Buhari administration has sufficiently settled the military that they can never think of a coup? Even though before Buratai was taken away, they were saying, don't use junior officers, don't think of a coup, don't think of a coup. And Buratai was left there for several months after he should have been retired, after she should have retired. And then they even he retired officially and still posted him to Republic of Benin as our ambassador. Does it mean that the Buhari administration has sufficiently settled the military that everybody should go and sleep with their two eyes closed?
No, I don't think so. In my own humble opinion and submission, there are rumblings going on in the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially the military who are executing this war on insurgency. Their colleagues have been killed almost every day. They don't have adequate and the state of the art equipment to fight. Their welfare is not being taken care of, and so nobody, even the commander in chief, cannot beat his chest and say, "I can assure the country that you wouldn't experience the military coming back." And in the other sense, actually, in the other sense, we are still operating a quasi type of military regime in Nigeria, because the military, the ex-soldiers and the serving officers have positioned themselves in the polity in Nigeria that they are dictating political decisions. We had Obasanjo, a retired general. We are now having Buhari, a retired general and former head of state. And you will notice that the retired generals are actively involved in politics. The retired generals are traditional rulers. The retired generals have a big control of the economy, and these are the things that come together to dictate what is going on in the country. And so when you ask yourself, or you ask me, do I think there's a likelihood that there may be a military coup? Yes, there could be a military coup, but we may not even know the form or the type or the way the coup will come and the coup will succeed. Because again, the history, I've taken time to study military caution in politics in any country. The civilians always, the civilians and I say the politicians always invite the military to come and take over power. This is what is going on. Civilians are always behind any successful coup you can think of, because they will even in military regimes, the politicians or the civilians are beneficiaries. They participate in a military regime by way of appointment and other things. So what our experience now in Africa, and especially West Africa and the Saharan region, like what happened in Conakry, that is Guinea Conakry, and other countries, even Mali, or even some of these other countries, the civilians pour out on the street to welcome the coupist when the things. Yes, and at the end of the day, because the military regime, I mean, nobody can question them because they got their authority through the barrel of the gun. It's showing now that the democracy has failed in these African countries because the people have not been carried along. And even within the democracy we think we're experiencing, we still see the armed forces brutalizing the civilians. We had the NSAS because the police and even the military were just brutalizing the civilians. There wasn't any freedom of speech, no freedom of association, no freedom of expression.
But then the military, sorry to cut in, the military, are they better than the civilians in power?
The military, by their training, by the design, they don't have any training in the area of administration. They don't have, they may be military administration, but civilian affairs, they are not trained. They are trained to kill and go. And we have seen how civilians have been brutalized, even in the democracy, when they are military supposed to have subjected themselves to democratic rule. So this is the challenge we now face. You now have people who maybe through the ballot box, one way or the other, get elected, and they turn out to be tyrants and dictators. And all the civilian can do is to abuse them, to even remove them out of power. It's not easy. And also when election results are decided in the courts, and your courts are equally very corrupt and no longer the last hope of the common man.
Thank you, Nat. I'll ask Mark the last question on this issue. Mark, we have seen that the causes of military coups can be many. One of them, insensitivity to the running of the administration by the civilian administrators. Another one could be external, where the external factors like Nkrumah's case came to pass because he was tending towards communism, and so the Western world was not happy and they facilitated the coup. And we have seen that in Allende's Chile as well, when America sponsored the coup in Chile. So there are different causes. Also, insurgency within the coup, within the military, could easily lead to a coup, and wanting to control power. Now, the ECOWAS and African Union, they have decided to put something in place that they will not tolerate any form of coup, and they will sanction such a successive successful military administration. They've done so now against Guinea Conakry and Guinea and Mali. Do you think all those sanctions could work? And are they working in favor of the people?
Yes, it will work, Sasha. It will. The world's organization is becoming a little bit more knitted together. When OAU went on the last meeting,
they're now called African Union.
Yes, African Union. They came to a consensus, and yes, a lot of embargoes, a lot of sanctions will fall in place. And
yeah, but somebody has said the federal government has lost Nigeria as a regional power in West Africa. That the kind of capability Nigeria has within the West African sub-region should have made any soldier to think twice that Nigeria will use his juggernaut position to subdue them. For instance, when Togo, the son of Eyadema, decided to just take over power, Obasanjo called him and said, "Go back and do election." And immediately he rescinded and he went to do the election. When Sao Tome and Principe decided to kill some Igbo guys, and they shifted, it was Obasanjo again, he shifted the military naval boat. The president ran away from the country. Now, does it mean Nigeria is no longer powerful as should be within the sub-region when it has helped countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, and indeed helped countries like Togo, Republic of Benin in oil production and facilitated them? Does it mean that Nigeria's body language is zero now?
No, no matter what, the dynamism of Nigeria remains, Sashage. It's a natural thing, even though, yes, inside our country, things are not in place, but the dynamism of Nigeria remains because, as a matter of fact, you can see it in whatever it is that we connect with. So that dynamism is natural, no matter what happens inside our country.
So Nigeria still has what it takes.
Exactly. But
all right, we'll just leave it as that. We have to go on a short break. We'll leave it at that. So Nigeria still has what it takes to be a superb power influencing in West Africa at least. Let's leave it like that and go on a short break. When we return, we want to see Nigeria itself going one-party state, whether you like it or not. We look at the definitions of political powers. We look at the definition of one-party state, and then we'll be able to compare and contrast what's going on in Nigeria. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching News Echoes, and we want to look at some things holding Nigeria, or rather directing Nigeria in another way that we had not envisaged, and it's the case of the one-party state. Recently, we have seen the defection of two governors, Umahi in Ebonyi State and Ayade in Cross River State, going to be with the APC. The loud-mouthed Femi Fani-Kayode also has joined, former aviation minister, has joined the APC after he has said he would rather die than join APC. Now, many people have joined the APC from PDP and from other parties, making APC very, very humongous. And that is the only way to a one-party state. Will one-party state be good for Nigeria, a country of over 250 ethnic tribes, a country of 36 states? And how do we want to live within this situation? Because it may just lead to a kind of autocratic government. But let us ask from our in-house researcher, Nat, from your binoculars, are we heading towards one-party state?
Well, it's that question you have posed may be better answered by Nigerians themselves. But from the way things are going, we may end up in having one-party state with with still some small parties.
Some mushrooms
Yes, so some mushroom parties. Because if you look at the political development in Nigeria, political parties since independence, uh, for from 60 or 63 or thereabout, we had, we can clearly say we had three strong regional political parties in the three regions, the NPC, the Action Group, the NCNC. And there was NEPU, but those were
NEPU from
really,
Kanu and ANPP from Borno.
yeah. And even Taka some Middle Belt something.
Yes,
Something,
MBC, Middle
like
Belt Forum, yeah, Congress.
yeah. But as we started joining in our independence at the Democratic Party, and the military came in, political party activities were suspended at intervals until 1999, when we now had what we have now. But then again, before Babangida and Abacha tried to force a one-party system on Nigeria when they maneuvered that to see if all the political parties then will present Abacha as their presidential candidate when he was planning for the referendum, but he couldn't make
Never
it.
materialized.
Yeah, he couldn't make it. And so Absalami came in, and then the 1998 and 99, we still had strong regional parties, which were more of a resurrection of the old parties. Names were changed here and there, and we had the PDP. We had the PDP. We have the SCN, and which other political party again? And you will notice that in 1999, during Obasanjo's regime, PDP had almost 30 something states in their pocket. But as gradually as we progressed in that republic, the number of PDP governors started reducing, and we now had governors in the east, PDP in the east, but in the southwest, we had the ACN. I think ACN was predominant, but the number of PDP parties started shrinking up till the end of the Jonathan regime, and really they have not gained back those number of states. But when
That's correct. But again, Edo State, they gain Benue State from the APC. And then Oyo State from the APC. Those three states.
They did, but it's, if you know what happened behind the scene, it was not really any gain at all. I think it was a bargain. It was a bargain.
You mean behind the scene is more important than what we see?
Yes, and you now notice that corruption also have always got a major factor to play in what is on, and the corruption is around how deep is your pocket.
How best can you snatch boxes?
Yes, and with the armed forces with you, are they an arm of your political party? As we now see even the EFCC being deployed to play politics in the polity, and
And
very
also, sorry to cut in, also electronic collation that is being rejected is a major factor, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is when you want to do everything manual in the 21st century, when people are using electronic, digital technology to do almost everything. And so, but with the coming of the APC, especially as from 2015, the issue of if you are not with us, you are against us. And the issue of just poaching, especially governors and high-profile political figures in the PDP, wooing them into the APC with lies, because there is this slogan: if you join the APC, your sins will be forgiven. So it depends upon maybe the quantum of your
Now,
sins.
I have to ask you this one, since you have talked about joining the APC and sins forgiven. Do you
Yes.
think Femi Fani-Kayode joining the APC, his sins have been forgiven?
No, I want to assure you that Fani-Kayode physically is in the APC, but his spirit is still in the PDP.
Are you sure?
I can bet you that. Because Fani-Kayode.
Let's listen to what he's saying here now. Maybe we can listen.
This kind of trouble that you're seeing today is in crisis right now.
Yes.
Are you sticking with the party?
But of course, the PDP is my party. I will never leave the party.
You're never considering going back to the APC?
I would never. The APC, absolutely out of the question. Until kingdom comes, until Jesus returns, that will never happen.
But you left the PDP for the APC.
Well, we've discussed that on many, many occasions. I've told you my reasons for doing that at that time. I was not happy with
to get them to join you?
There are many, many people. If you ask my friend and brother, Governor Matawale here, there are many people within the PDP who really do want to come over to the APC. I can tell you that. I was there and very instrumental when Governor Umahi, joined the APC. I was there and very instrumental when Governor Ayade did the same thing. I was there and very instrumental when my friend and brother, Governor Zamfara, Governor Matawale, did the same thing. And there are many, many others. Some of the most, remarkable men in this country are still within the ranks of the PDP. It's our job to try to win them over now. Somebody like, if you don't mind me mentioning names, somebody like the governor of Enugu State, the governor of Oyo State, and of course my good friend, the governor of Bauchi State, great friends of mine. And I sincerely hope that they too may end up coming in this direction. But whether they do or not, the most important thing is that we work together as a people, as a country, and move our country together and fight and kill the terrorists and put to shame the foreign elements.
Well. You have had it. He said Bauchi, Oyo, and Ebonyi may still join. And unashamedly, Femi Fani-Kayode was saying all of these after we have heard him even mentioning the name of Jesus, that he would never switch. Mark, let me see. Let the world hear your reaction to FFK.
Sir Shage, it's a shame. Why it's a sad thing is FFK is in this group of, he's still in that age group you call youth. And these are supposed to be the new generation of Nigerians that should be thinking very progressive. Now we see this play out. We were monitoring all this. We analyzed and we feel so sad here in Schengen Story Media Europe, because It's a sign of how gluttonous a person can be. One thing we can see from this is most politicians still cannot do a thing of their own until they are in that circle of politics where they can grab from the national wealth.
So it's still the Amala politics.
Amala politics. Ambala politics, Shashage. Femi just proved to us that first of all, he's supposed to be a lawyer. I know he read law, but he has the politics of Amala has gotten so much into him that he doesn't see any other way of money making than being in the Amala politics, and it's terrible. Imagine all he has said about APC. Imagine all the rundown, the derogatory words, the abuse, and everything.
Insult on President Buhari.
Insult and curses and everything, using Jesus even in his statements. And now he's also telling us that God told him. You see, the problem is we all use the word God. A lot of people just use that word. God told them. How are you sure it is God that's speaking or a demon? So, but what has happened to Femi is this is the end of his political era. I can assure you that, because the times have changed. Nigerians are all awakened to so much now, politically and everything. So nobody.
But people like Femi has no shame. You'll be amazed if for any reason PDP should come 2023. He's not ashamed because he's a source of money. Look at how he's calling Zamfara governor, my brother, my brother, my brother. Like the journalist who asked him a question in Cross River. He said, who is bankrolling you? I think that is bankrolling him, his mouth starts running, isn't it? How do we deal with such? I mean, this is for all Nigerians. How do we deal with such people? How do we remove them from our political space? They're occupying the wrong space. They're giving the wrong energy to the space, and we need to remove such people. This is a shame that we have to continue to live by such people like Femi Fani-Kayode. It's a grave shame, and somebody has to tell them. Tell such people to get out.
Stupid question is that?
Okay, thank you.
What type of stupid question is that? Bankrolling who? Do you know who you are talking to? I will not take any questions from this man. What type of insulting question is that? Which bankroll? To do what? Who can give me money for anything? Who do you think you are talking to?
Zamfara governor can give you.
Yourself to your publisher. Bankroll what? Please don't insult me here. I don't want to take any questions from this man. Very stupid. I could see from your face before you got here how stupid you are. Don't ever talk to me like that. Who do you think you're talking to? Bankroll who? You think that I'm one of those ones you'll be from who? From how? When? Where? How? You have a small mind. Very small mind. Don't judge me by your own standards. I've been in politics since 1990. I'm not one of these politicians you think will just come. I've been locked up how many times by this government? Suffered. I've been persecuted. Unlike most of the politicians you follow for brown envelope. You. Don't ever judge me by that standard.
Wow. So we can now judge him by that standard. He's with his own mouth. He's a money following politician. What a shame. What a grave shame. What a grave shame.
And you know, Sasha, what it did was what Buhari did is to completely silence our man, to silence Femi, because yes, this is to silence him politically. They probably saw that he could be a threat somehow, or one way or the other, and doing this to him, bringing him into a PC, is silencing him.
No, I think this man has been working his way to the heart of Buhari before now, and I'm going to explain it. When Nnamdi Kanu was a threat to the federal government, this man, Femi Fani-Kayode, called him into a session and showed President Buhari and his cohorts in the Asoro that, look, I have the control of Kanu. Look at me having fellowship with him. Now, Kanu was out of the way. Then Igboho became the central piece in the whole Nigerian theater. And then he called Igboho to his bedroom to show Buhari, look, I'm in charge of those who are your enemies. The earlier you get into me, the better. I'm in charge. All those giving you the greatest of problems, I am the one I can talk to them. And then, look, I can give you governors. With his own mouth, he said he was been instrumental to Ayade, to Miahi. So he's been instrumental. So he's been working his way. By the time Buhari now called him to the podium, now this is what some people said, that Buhari called Femi Fani-Kayode not to give him a post, not to shower any blessing on him or encomium, but simply to say, all my enemies who have been under the foothold of Femi Fani-Kayode are now under my foothold. So now my enemies have come to bow down before me. What, without using a gun, without arresting him, look at my enemies bow down before me. So all the people who have ever accused Buhari are now bowing down Buhari. So for Buhari, for instance, through Femi Fani-Kayode, Igboho, Kanu, Umeahi, Ayade, Zamfara Governor, Matawale, they've all gone to bow down before. So it's like, look, I'm conquering my enemies. But these actually are not enemies. They're just people asking for self-determination, or they're asking for egalitarianism. They're not Buhari's enemies. So we are not just on the same page. For every democracy, there's supposed to be an adequate opposition in place to give a better alternative to how to rule the country. And so Buhari should not see them as enemies to be conquered, but should see them as part of the people contributing to the upward movement of the nation. So now Fashola said something famously. At least Fashola was quoted for it. Babatunde Raji Fashola said, the doors of the church and the doors of the mosque are always open to sinners, but their pulpits are not given to them. Nat, what will you say of Fashola? The pulpits are not open to sinners. Okay,
I don't. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I have challenges with my system. People like Fashola too. I don't want to use the word hypocrites, but
you have just used it. You have just used it. Go on.
During his tenure as a governor of Lagos State, there are so many things he did which initially raised a lot of dust after his governorship. Again, quietly, those things were forgiven. And so he knows exactly what he's saying, but he's not telling us what we know.
Well, he has been called to the pulpit of Naira, and he says, Fani-Kayode, they don't think we're calling you to this pulpit of Naira. You can enter the pews, but not the pulpit.
Well, it depends upon the level or degree of pulpit what I have in mind. But what I'm saying, the Fani-Kayode getting into APC is a strategy to keep him short. He can no longer criticize APC when he's there.
Exactly. And he can no longer strengthen PDP in any form anymore.
Well, he said he can still throw stones at PDP if they throw stones at him. That is what.
Yeah, but at least he cannot strengthen them. That's what I'm saying. So, they have lost.
The issue that it's a waiting game, and it's all about 2023. Everybody is positioning himself. everybody is positioning him straight and maybe strategically to see what value will they add to politics in Nigeria in 2023.
Okay,
has been.
I'm aware of the Nat. I'm aware of the time, and I just have to ask Mark this question quickly. Stella Odua, you remember her? One-time
Yes, sir.
commissioner, one-time minister, has moved to
Sure.
APC, and then now FFK has moved to APC. Two governors have moved to APC. They say that this is in preparation for Jonathan making the final move, and he will be made their presidential candidate. Do you think that is correct, or somebody is just dreaming and we should wake him up out of the dream?
A quick one. If Jonathan makes that move, that's the end of his own career too, and that would be a shame. That would be a disaster.
Why? It's a political shameless game. That's what they play.
He's a big fish in PDP. I mean, they've lost what they call integrity. Why are they switching parties and just jumping? Everybody's just behaving.
I will tell you the answer: because they don't have any ideology. Here in the United Kingdom, there is ideology. You cannot just switch ideology overnight. You must believe in an ideology for you to be in a particular party. In the Labour Party here in the United Kingdom, they believe in massive blessing, massive orientation. In the Conservative Party, they believe in business.
Yes, sir. It's how it is also in Europe, all of Europe.
Yes, all of Europe. Yes, all of Europe.
Ideologies. You don't just have.
They have the ideologies. Yes.
You don't just jump into. So Nigerians need to create that also. It's funny. The thing becomes.
No, but we refuse to create it. Maybe in the First Republic, it could have happened between the MPC, NCNC, and AG. AG was looking progressive, and MPC was looking the Conservative Party, while NCNC was looking like the Lib Dem. But then everything fizzled out, and with the military intervention spoiled everything. And it just appears that Nigeria is not within that comprehensive framework, and so people could just cross carpet and without any ideology. Therefore, there is no shame. It's survival of the fittest. Well, I'm mindful of the time. Nat, what's your last take for today? We just have to close this program.
Well, my last take for today is that we need individuals who are not in PDP and not in APC to come forward and rescue.
They have done so. It was not possible. Melafia contested. Mogalu contested. Showore contested. Shoyode contested. It is impossible. Obi Ezekwesili presented herself. They are not effective. Ganifa Emi presented himself. He got very few votes. Femi Falana presented himself. He got very few votes. So they're not feasible.
Well, in Nigeria.
Okay, Mark, what do you have to say?
Yes, sir. This was in time past. The awareness has grown so much now. So I'm aligning with Ambassador Nat. If it comes up at this time, Sasha, again, no, don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Don't lose your faith. Now it's a different thing. Yes, you know, every day people grow in knowledge and in awareness. The awareness in Nigeria politically has grown more than the normal.
Look, we don't have all the time. Maybe we'll take this one up next Wednesday. I'm aware that there are 774 local governments in Nigeria, and each local government has got hundreds and thousands of wards. If you have to put representative at each ward during voting time, such smaller parties like ABGA, like Labour Party, they don't have the money, they don't have the personnel. That is the crux of the matter. The mind of the people may change, but where the personnel resources to handle big elections. Are you getting with me? That is how far we'll leave it to today. Thank you for watching and listening to us. We'll definitely bring you the latest next Wednesday when my colleagues will be here to discuss all the things that are going on around the globe. I'm very grateful to Mark in Milan, Nat in London, and my name is Shegun Johnson, and God bless you wherever you are.
Thank you.